and sisters, today we gather here in this Jum'ah, in this time of reflection, in this time of inhumanity, in this time where we can see a photograph of a 3-year-old boy washed up on a beach because he is fleeing persecution, war, famine, degradation, torture, him and his family, and he gets washed up onto the beach. So these are the times that we have actually become inhuman. These are times where we categorize ourselves as technologically superior, but morally inferior we should be called. We should be called lower than the animals when we do this to ourselves, the human being. What is the price of somebody's life or their children's lives, whether it matters a green passport or a yellow passport or a blue passport? Who cares? This is the human race. So in these times of trouble and tumult, we have found ourselves at a cusp of inhumanity. We have found ourselves at the peak, falling off of the idea that we have become savages, that we have no hearts, that what runs through our blood are fossilized entities that we cannot actually identify ourselves. What is it that makes ourselves called human beings? Our solution as Muslims is to get back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to actually have that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to have that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-alaqatu ma'allah, that you have this alaqa with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Aliqa means something that clings, something that hangs, something that sticks, something to catch, something that's stuck, something that is attached, something that is devoted, something that is dependent. That's what it means to actually hang in the Arabic language. Aliqa, meaning that is the point where we should be concerned about our relationship, our being attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alaqa, attachment, devotion, affection, bond, connection, whatever name, whatever adjectives that you would like to pour into it. The main understanding is that we have this closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you look at relationships depend on something else. Meaning you cannot have a relationship just into thin air. It is related to something else. Number one, relationship means affinity. Mus'ab ibn Umair radiallahu anhu, he died with his face down. The people who are great, who actually talked about these issues, they said, because in the Jahiliyyah period, when the Arabs would actually fall face down in a battle, they would say he's a coward. But Mus'ab radiallahu anhu was nowhere a coward. When he fell, when they found him face down, they had two things to say about him. They said he feared to see the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in harm's way. That's why he felt like that. Secondly, he felt shy before making sure the safety of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is affinity. This is the affinity that we should be looking at. Relationship means connection. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood at the feet of Mus'ab radiallahu anhu, and he wept. And he wept and he wept, because this is connection. Our connection with our brothers, very fickle. Small words said between each other, we depart forever. We hold hatred, we hold grudges, we hold malice. Relationship means link. The link of that girl who told her mother not to add water to the milk. And the mother said, who Amir al-Mu'mineen will not watch. And Umar radiallahu anhu was actually passing. Unlike today's rulers, they don't care about their subjects. At that time, Umar radiallahu anhu, being a rightly ruler, a Khalifa, passed by, heard this little girl say to her mother, yes, Umar will not know, but the Lord of Umar will know. Meaning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will know if you add milk, if you add water to milk. Allah will know. And then it goes on to say that Umar radiallahu anhu made sure that his son marries that girl. Relationship means bond. Bond. It means bond. And when Umar radiallahu anhu was passing away, Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu was crying. He said, "Oh my beloved father, oh my dear father, oh my father." He was crying for his father. And his father exchange was that if I have anything that I have done good, send me quickly to my maker. And if I have been evil, then you will rid somebody off your shoulders. This is called bonding. This is called bonding. Relationship means an exchange, an exchange. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his dua, in his supplication to Allah, said, Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. He said, O revolver of the heart, make my heart firm unto your deen. Always make dua for your heart. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our hearts close to Him. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our hearts stable, steady. How is your relationship, brothers and sisters, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is it good? Is it fair? Is it mediocre? Is it non-existent? You have to ask that question to yourself. The youth have to ask that question to themselves. What is it? What kind of relationship do they have? How is the salah? How is the prayer? How is the fajr? How is the dhuhr? How is the asr? How is maghrib? How is isha? How are these prayers? Do you look forward to them? Are they a burden onto you? Do you just eat them away? Do you neglect them? What do you do with these prayers? What do you do with these prayers? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاعْبُدْنِي وَقِيمَ الصَّلَاةِ لِذِكْرِي. Worship me and establish the prayer for my dhikr, for my remembrance. Remembering Allah does not increase His dominion. Remembering Allah only increases the inhabitants of this earth. It only increases you. It doesn't increase anything of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's dominion. And whether you remember or not, and if you don't, it never decreases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's dominion, but it only decreases you, makes you into a shell, hollow. That's why the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in Sahih Muslim, he said, "Inna bayna rajuli wa bayna shirki wal kufr tark as-salah." That between a man and between polytheism, shirk, association, kufr, disbelief, is tark as-salah, is leaving of the prayer. Prayer is the first thing that will be counted on the Day of Judgment. Prayer is the first thing that we should be concentrating upon to make it good. Salah is that relationship that you cannot afford to break. There are many companies that said, you cannot afford to let this deal go by, or you will lose so much in this life. You will lose this great deal. Get it now, 50% off, 70% off. You cannot afford to break this deal. You cannot, which is the salah. People break their salah for dumb meetings. They break their salah for movies. They break their salah for TV programs. They break their salah because they're on vacation. They break their salah because it's the day of Eid. Hudayfa radiallahu anh, in his 72 signs, the minor signs of the Day of Judgment, he said people are ignoring and missing their prayers. This is what the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has stated, that these are one of the signs. This is one of the signs of the Day of Judgment, that they ignore and miss their prayers, extracting something else from the prayer other than, number one, emptiness, extract something else from the prayer other than unmindfulness, don't know where we're praying, what we're praying to, what we're doing, how we are doing, what is it, what we're thinking about, Allahu Akbar, all of a sudden we go into some kind of thinking mode. Extract something from the prayer other than unattentiveness, being attentive in salah. Why are you here? What are you doing? The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, feet was swollen. He had understanding of his Lord. He had depth of character. And this is how he led by example. Now if you ask households that actually crumble, one of the main reasons they crumble is that the lack of salah in the house, the lack of barakah in the house. Salah actually brings a lot of barakah in the house. Make sure that you don't make your houses into graveyards. People these days give their daughters to ungodly people. They give them for monies, for positions. They let their sons go into families which are totally devoid from the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They care not for his well-being. Abu Darda radiallahu anh did not give his daughter to Muawiyah radiallahu anh because he feared that she may be corrupted, meaning too much of the dunya. How he raised her in the great light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how he didn't want her to be corrupted out of opulence and out of being just in a luxurious place. Women, as one woman said, that he said, I must admit, you brought back religion to my life. I never believed in hell until I met you. This is how it becomes a relationship when there is no salah, when there is no adhkar, when there is no godliness. Meaning you're reminded of hell in this life because of the treachery of marriage itself. Secondly, our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be improved and can be fortified with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't have to go far. We don't have to go right, left, where, what do we do, what book do we read? It's the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we're looking at. How do we get back to it? With proper understanding. Only solution is to our depression, to our laziness, is to get back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's book. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, لَوْ أَنزَلْنَا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ عَلَى جَبَلٍ لَرَأَيْتَهُ خَاشِعًا مُتَصَدِّعًا مِنْ خَشْيَةِ اللَّهِ. That if this Quran were to be revealed on top of a mountain, you would have seen it submissive and shattered with the awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is my translation. I don't know what the other translation is, but inshallah, a rough translation. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, khasha'a means to be submissive, to be humble. Khashyatillah. This is between you and Allah. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to lower his eyes in the prayer. Used to be a person who was extremely reduced to submissiveness in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You found his companion Ali radiallahu anh weeping at night. You found Ubay ibn Ka'b radiallahu anh saying when the surah was revealed, لَمْ يَكُنِ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. He said, Sammani ya Rasulullah. He said, did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention me? Na'am. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, yes. فَبَكَى Ubay. And then he cried. And he wept because Allah mentioned him. How great must have been those times? How great must have been those people? Now you cannot bring somebody to teach the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has to be fight over salary. You cannot bring somebody to actually be teaching the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it has to be fight over monies, about timing, about schedule. How are these people? Where were these greatness coming from? Where they were moved by the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the relationship that they had with Allah. Umar radiallahu anh said, if I sleep in the night, I lose my own self. I lose my own self. And if I sleep in the day, I lose and ignore the affairs of the subjects. How can I take rest under these? كيف بين هاتين? How can I take rest under these two circumstances? How? I stay up. If I don't stay up at night worshipping Allah, I lose myself. And if I don't wake up in the day and look after my subjects, I lose their affairs. Secondly, sadda'a. Sad dal ain. Sadda'a. Meaning to say to crack, to split, to cleave. Our hearts have become so hard that it doesn't even, let alone crack, it doesn't soften anymore. You see the small Syrian boy. I didn't open anything. Everyone was telling me this is what happened. I just went on, I read news for about 10 minutes. And I saw a boy, I thought, oh, this is a boy, why is he lying on the beach? I couldn't see, it was just after Fajr, I had to travel. So I looked at it closely, I said, oh, just my eye, I said, oh, it looks like my son, like when he sleeps with his arm like that. I said, why is he sleeping on the beach? I didn't even read the caption, I couldn't see, so. And then when I read the caption, I didn't open. I said, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And then I hear from some of the brothers, this is what happened. How do we put up with that? What kind of people are we? Huh? Just 10 years, 15 years ago, Syrians were not to be even mentioned. Not to be even mentioned. Now droves of them all over the place. This inept, this corrupted, conservative government, this seething cauldron of fools, heartless, moronic, intellectual pygmies. In their veins run cruelness. Their hearts are fossilized, rejecting the application of these poor people. While you can send bomber jets to go and fight this endless war, creating vacuums and fights and dropping bombs, and then calling them, yes, we hit suspected militants. This is the most lovely phrase, lexicon of these days. Everyone is suspected. But you cannot open your doors. Canada was also known many decades ago to turn away a few ships. And this is authenticated by themselves. These are recorded things of Jews fleeing persecution of Nazi Germany, turned away from the border, turned away from the border of the sea. Go back, we don't want you. Where is the humanity? Where is the humanity? Nobody had, if somebody had a son, you would know that he would sleep like that, on the bed. He would turn over like that. Sick. Sick is just the word that you can think of with many adjectives that would actually flow from it. Sickness. Actually, the heart has to be alive in order to be sick. If it's totally dead, then the heart is dead itself. This should not even be called the heart. So our hearts have no impact. The receiver is broken, and we feel very contented with dunya, and we continue forward. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ثُمَّ قَصَتْ قُلُوبُكُم مِّن بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ فَهِيَ كَالْحِجَارَةِ أو أشد قسوة. That after that, their hearts were hardened, like stones, or even harder than that. Or even harder than that. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes, and from the stone come out water, from them gush out springs. And they, وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَا يَهْبِطُوا مِنْ خَشْيَةِ اللَّهِ. And from the stones itself, that they prostrate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're submissive. So even the human's heart become worse than the stones itself. How do you see this little boy in this condition? How do you see a father trying to hold on to the wife in the middle of darkness and sea, running away from persecution and torture, trying to get to safety? Oh, you don't have your documents right. We cannot get documents in an institution in the first world properly. You expect war-torn countries, those poor refugees, those people who don't have food, those people who don't have clothing, those people who are running away from torture, those people who are running away from bombing, you expect them to have documentation? What kind of a heartless system have we created? What is this? Where is humanity? Where are the people? Are these people just fodder? They mean nothing. They don't have a passport. They don't have worth in life. A father holding on to the wife, holding on to his kids, one kid after another, drowning into the sea. And then you give this father a thing and say, we're going to give you a Canadian citizenship. You can put the Canadian citizenship, he told them. You can keep them. You can keep it. Just picture how this father must be feeling. In the middle of darkness, losing his wife, losing his kids, the little one, 3-year-old gone. What would he be feeling? What would he be feeling? Our 3-year-old gets a fever, we can't sleep at night, at least me. Some fathers sleep away, but I can't. What would this father must be going through, and what is he going to live from this day on? Huh? How is he going to live with this nightmare? How? Oh, he's Syrian. Now Syria is bad. So it's okay. They don't feel, the mother doesn't feel, the father doesn't feel, the human don't feel. They must be made of plastic. So the hearts become hard. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has described them well. You desire your relationship to improve, do it with love. Open the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ammar ibn Yasir and Abbad ibn Bishr, they were taking position, and one was praying, and when he got hit with the arrow, he didn't move. So many times, didn't move, was in the salah itself. They said, oh, I wonder if this is a piece of wood. We don't even have to do, nothing hits us, but we're moving all over the place. Our teenagers can't stand still in the salah, rocking back and forth, doing this, doing that, pushing them to Taraweeh. I can't pray, oh, sitting there, wait till the rak'ah is made. But we can drive taxis all night long. We can stay at our offices till the time is done. We can't spend 10 minutes in the salah itself. Third, the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ. فَاذْكُرُونِي, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, remember me, and I will remember you. Be grateful to me, and do not be ungrateful. So the dhikr is there. فَاذْكُرُونِي, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you fair amr. He's giving you an order. فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ, I will remember you. If you remember me, remember me. He didn't say, if you will remember, then I will remember. He said, فَاذْكُرُونِي, remember me. أَذْكُرْكُمْ, and then I will remember you. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ ذِكْرًا كَثِيرًا. Oh, you believe, remember Allah with much dhikr. Whenever we're talking, even after the prayer, is always talk. You don't see it? Go into any of the masajids. Right after Salat al-Isha, Maghrib, it's always talk. Right, even in the front row, it's talking about something frivolous, not saying, okay, akhi, I'll see you outside, I need to talk to you importantly. It's just casual banter. That's it. So we are here in this cusp, thinking that how do we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Open your mouth. Say subhanallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Pick one and keep repeating it. Ratban min dhikrillah. Make your tongue moist with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how you get back and make relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The one you remember the most, the one you will be closest to the most. If you don't remember Allah, how are you going to be close? Fourthly, how to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fathom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's majesty. This verse in the Quran, every time I read it, blows me away. It says, لا تدركه الأبصار وهو يدرك الأبصار وهو اللطيف الخبير. You can see that no human being could have written this. Impossible. لا تدركه الأبصار. That no sight envisions him. Meaning cannot encompass him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَهُوَ يُدْرِكُ الْأَبْصَارِ. And he encompasses all sights. وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. And he is benevolent and aware. Meaning the most benevolent and the ever aware. Latafa, to be kind. Lutf, gentleness. Al-Latif, the benevolent. How does one know? You look at the birds that break the eggs. You look at the small horse that just is born and starts running. This is benevolence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wise insofar as He plans. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is generous insofar that He creates. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the fashioner insofar that He orders them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just insofar that He puts every and each and everything in its proper place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is benevolent insofar He does not overlook the subtleties, does not overlook your eyebrows, your nose hairs, your eyelashes, your eyelids. Subtle. Did not put eyes on your feet, did not put hands in the back of your shoulders. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fashions everything, and quality of gentleness concerning all of His creatures. Gentle. يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. On that day, people will stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when it was mentioned to Ibn Umar this, he fell down after crying. Fell down, unconscious. Because the psychological state, people say, how do you fall down like that? Because your psychological state is so high. Because your connection is so close. This is how you fall down. They like it, they say, oh, what happened? I read that, nothing even happens to me. Meaning he's aware of there's accountability after this. If we are aware that we have accountability, we would not do 99% of the things that we're doing. That is important. Know that it's time, brothers and sisters, to mend the bond that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us by the Quran. Know that it's time to fix the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the salah. Know that it's time to correct the link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with dhikr. Know that it's time to rectify our devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by loving Him and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And it's time that we actually show the goodness of ourselves by actions. Good is not always thought of. Good is actually done with action. It is time to actually live real Islam, not just theoretical Islam. We need to actually be examples for society. We need to be a people, if we devote ourselves to worship in a good way, that it receives spiritual enjoyment from supplications, from recitations. And if we succeed, our heart should automatically become indifferent to people and acquaintances and their contacts. You wouldn't care about who's who and what's what. But slowly you lose. Your wife pulls you this way. Your children pull you this way. Your friends pull you that way. Your job pulls you that way. And you think you're doing well, but you really drown. And sometimes you cannot heed because you can't see outside. There's no waking up, dead salah. Time is going by and you catch the salah 15, 20 minutes after, knowing that it's already come in, but you don't even know what time it came in. You just see, okay, these are the best of us. Drowned, and you don't know that you have drowned. You don't know that you have drowned. حُبُّ الدُّنْيَا رَأْسُ كُلَّ خَطِيَّةٍ. That the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, love of this life is the head of all stumblings. People fight for money, people fight for small things. It's the mother of all stumblings, rightly said by the last Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him. Brothers and sisters, inshallah, very quickly, that the days of Dhul Hijjah coming up, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated, and if you want to make your bond with Allah strong, said no good deeds done on other days are superior to those done on these days. Coming up, do good deed, make sadaqah, make salah, make adhkar, make recitation. Do all of these things. Get up and do something. Don't just sit there and thinking, oh, Islam is going to fall into my lap. I'm going to go to work. Meaningless work. Just work. So I can get money to pay. Yes, good, great. But your goal is bigger than that. Don't make the goal something that is on the periphery. Make the goal something that's solid, that's in front of you. That's why they call it hadaf. That's your goal. Don't make your goal something that's low. Rasulullah ﷺ said there is no day more honorable in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sight, and no acts more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than those done on these days. So he said, say Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, la ilaha illallah, aw kama qal. So brothers and sisters, inshallah, be mentally aware. Be mentally aware. Number one, have quiet time. You want a relationship with Allah? Make quiet time. Get away from every other thing. No disturbance. Quiet time. Nothing. No videos, no songs, nothing. No friends, no phones, no beepers. Quiet time. Total quiet. You need time to think, number one. Secondly, sleep properly. Not this upside down sleep. Sleep anywhere on the sofa like this. Sleep in the Jum'ah. Sleep everywhere. That means there's a lack of, you're undisciplined. If you're sleeping in different places, you're undisciplined. Sleep at night. Night is for sleep. Day is for work. Third, pay attention to your reaction. How you react. Pay attention. We're not snakes. We react with intellectual understanding. Fourth, mental exercise. Get your mental prowess sharp. 5, exercise. Young brothers should not be out of shape going up and down the stairs. You're young, you're old, get yourself in a good exercise mode. 6, be careful of things that drain you. Your friends that drain you, things that drain you. Be careful, leave it, move on, get on to your goal. Have your goal. They say keep your eyes on the prize. Make sure you keep your eyes on your prize. Drink lots of water. We're usually dehydrated because we feel cold outside. We don't drink water. We have all kinds of problems because we're not drinking enough water. 8, connect with the nature. Go look at the trees. Go outside the city sometimes. 9, live your purpose. Understand your purpose first, then live it. 10, open your mind a bit to other things. Educate. Sign of educated mind, Aristotle said, is to see what the other one is saying. Not necessarily that you have to accept it. 11, be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the favors that He has given. Be grateful that you're not one of those fathers or mothers that passed away on the shore like that, drowned in the night, insignificant in the world and the eyes of the world. Inshallah, they will be significant in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give this man a lot of sabr. I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him. I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant his family Jannah. I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on all of them. 12, take control of your lifestyle. 13, understand your thought process. And 14, reflect on these things. reflect on these things. Life is short, brothers and sisters. Do the right thing by yourselves, by your community, and by humanity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on us. Ameen.